Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I'm just gonna set my phone up here. Just got out of the shower. I haven't put makeup on or anything, but it's so weird. But lots of times when I have a shower, it's when I get like have my creative thinking and I'm thinking, I'm feeling vulnerable and I'm ready to kind of talk about me and tell my story a little bit. So I just wanted to be really real with you guys. I wasn't going to put on a bunch of makeup and just what I mean. I just want to be real. And today I wanted to come on live with you guys and just kind of talk about my story and my why and why I chose Beachbody Coaching. So it's going to get a little bit deep. I'm going to go a little bit back into my past. So I was in a relationship for about 10 years or so with with somebody who I met in high school who I was madly in love with. He had an addiction problem, and I'm not sure if anyone kind of knows or has dealt with someone with a severe addiction problem. It's extremely hard on them, and it's a sickness, and it's exhausting, and it's draining on your entire family. It's so hard to continue through being positive and keeping a positive mindset when you're constantly being drugged down by something that is totally out of your control. So this was my life for 10 years. We were happy, we were not. We were happy, we were not. The addiction kind of had all of the say on that, whether we were going to have a happy day or a bad day. But it was extremely hard on me and my self-confidence and my self-worth and my ability to cope and my patience and my everything. Whoever I thought I once was a complete mystery to me after dealing with that for so long, because I was so focused on helping one person get better that I totally lost myself in the journey. And I was at a very bad place of my own. Even when the person was feeling better, I was in a horrible place because I couldn't get myself back up to being who I really truly was. So long story short, we had two amazing kids, and it just kind of got worse and spiraled out of control. It was a bad situation, and I had to do what I had to do. I had to go. So it wasn't getting better, so I left. I went and I lived in a housing unit for people with low income. It was not where I thought I needed to be at all, but it was what I had to do for me and my kids, who were 2 and 3 weeks old at the time. I didn't want to harm the person I was leaving any more than I already had by leaving, and put him in any more upset of a mindset. So I just pretty much grabbed my kids' stuff and I left. I left everything of mine behind, and I didn't look back. I borrowed, people gave me couches, they gave me TVs, they gave me dishes, they gave me cups, they gave me silverware, you name it. That's what I had. The only thing I really had was what I had bought for my kids that I took with me. So I lived in those apartments for about 6 months. It was extremely hard. It was one of those places that was just a center that felt like everyone was watching you. I had no privacy. I was so used to living out of town that it just really took me down even more. And I was lost. And I thought I was living on social assistance. I was barely making any of my bills. I'm, still to this day, this many years later, I'm still paying for some of those things that happened back then. I had my truck had to go back. I had no vehicle. I biked everywhere I had to go. I had a bike trailer my mom and dad bought me that I put on the back of my bike, and that's how I would go get my groceries with my kids. It was pretty crazy. And to think back that I actually went through that, it makes me pretty emotional, because I don't know how I did it without crying every day, but I didn't cry every day. I got through it. I managed. I did what I had to do. It wasn't until about 6 months after I had lived there, I kind of thought, oh, well, I need to do something on my own. I need to go back. I need to do something with my life. Like this isn't working for me anymore. So I went and I rented a house that was $1,000 a month rent, that I could not afford. I was on social assistance, and I lied and said that I had money coming in. I was going to be able to make those payments. And, I got this house that I was planning on starting a daycare in. So I did that, but I couldn't get any kids. So I was spending my entire welfare check to rent every month, and I had nothing to live on, to nothing. Thank God I have amazing parents that helped me get through those tough times, because without them, I don't know how we would have fed ourselves, to be honest. It was tough. So you can imagine being through those financial stresses, that what it kind of does to your mind. And for me, it just kind of I'd kind of promised myself, once my daycare started to become more successful and I was actually making a living for myself without having to rely on anybody, I told myself, okay, I'm never looking back. This is exactly what I need to do. I need to make sure I'm always being that provider for my family. They can always depend on me in order to get things done, and I can be that person for them that they can look up to, that is going to get them through the tough times. I don't want to have to rely on anyone else for that. So when I made that choice, my daycare was booming. It was awesome. I could do whatever I wanted with my kids. We were going wherever we wanted. I was buying them whatever they needed. We would go out for dinner. It was really great. And finally, I met my husband now. I met him online dating, actually, and we hit it off right away. We went on dates, we went to Whistler, and we were together for about 4 months, and my life was just starting to everything was just flowing together so nicely. And we were together for about 4 months, and I found out I was pregnant, which is a total blessing now. But I'm just saying, I wasn't with him very long before we found out that we were having a baby together. So luckily, we were very happy, and it all worked out. So I was about, 6 months pregnant or so, and hopefully this is a long story. My life has been crazily happening to me since I was 20. And I'm 31 now, so it's been 11 years I'm trying to wrap up into a 5-minute video. When I was about 6 months pregnant, in January 2012, we found out that my 2 oldest children's father he was murdered in a way that was unimaginable, and I'm not going to get into details about it. It was something that took my life for a complete spin. It was, I can't talk too much about the details just because I don't want to go there. It's not about what happened in the details. It's just about what happened, that he didn't, it shouldn't have ever happened. And what me and my children had to deal with in the last 5 years has been completely and emotionally and so exhausting. So when that happened, we didn't even really know for sure if it was him. He was missing for a while. We found out it was him, and it was something that was extremely hard to deal with. And I know a couple of you probably kind of know what happened. And if you want to know more about it, just feel free to reach out to me. I can talk. I will talk about it. So what happened was I spun out of control. I was an emotional wreck. All my anxiety was coming back up. I was gaining weight. I was so unhealthy. I was impatient with my kids. I was an emotional wreck. I would cry myself to sleep. I had a lot of guilt, and I had a lot of insecurities about my parenting and how I was going to raise my kids without them knowing all of these gruesome details that I cannot think of telling them. And it ate me alive. And it worked really hard. It was extremely hard on me, and I really lost myself again in all of this. And so we were also dealing with some other stresses from Greg's other relationship. And so I went to a legal office and I asked for legal advice. And he said, oh, well, he's kind of different. He said, oh, you're having some, financial issues. You want a job? You could be my secretary. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could be a legal secretary. This is amazing. Wow, my life's coming together. But no, I worked there for a year, and it was a great experience, but it was also a pretty memorable experience in a lot of bad ways as well. Only because I was stuck doing legal aid and doing all of these things that were dealing with the families of the people accused of what happened to my children's father. So I was dealing with their family's criminal cases. I was dealing, I had their family members calling me about their criminal cases. Their files were in the office staring me in the eye, and I had a very, very hard time with that because I wanted to know everything. Everything was kept secret from us. Still, to this day, we do not know everything, and it's 5 years later because the case is still going and the trial is still happening. So you can imagine then I knew pretty much nothing, and all I wanted to do was search through everyone's files to figure out what the hell is going on. And so it made myself crazy. And I was having anxiety attacks. I had to leave the office more than once, breathing out of a paper bag just because I spoke with someone who reminded me of the person that did what they did to my ex. And it was horrible experience. So I went to the doctor and he told me, what the hell are you doing? You need to quit that job. Like, I don't even know why you would think you'd need to work there. And my boss was kind of a bully, is kind of why I stayed for so long. So I went back. I had a perfect excuse. I gave him a letter and said, hey, man, I'm on medical leave now. My doctor said I can't work here anymore. So I went on medical leave, and then I was like, okay, now what? I thought I was a legal secretary. What the hell am I going to do? I only have medical EI for 12 months. We were still struggling hard financially again as a family because my husband came into our relationship with 2 other children of his own. So we had 5 kids we were supporting, a mortgage, and all of these things that were just totally eating away everything that we brought in. So my little bit of medical EI really, really helped our income. So when that was going to go away, I was terrified. But I wasn't really thinking about it at the time. All I was thinking of was, okay, I need to do something with myself right now. I need to make myself feel better because this is ridiculous. And I'm going to go through the rest of my life feeling like crap about myself and my circumstances and always being the victim unless I do something now. So I did. And I ordered the 21-day fix off my coach, who I'm really good friends with now to this day. And I was in his challenge group, and it changed my life forever. I started to feel amazing. I started to feel like myself again. I felt like I could control my anxiety. I felt like I could actually, deal with things properly. And it wasn't until he said to me, you have an amazing story. You have amazing results. You should really think about coaching and helping other people. Then I was like, I am never being a salesperson. How could you even ask that of me? I would never sell to people. I am too private. I don't like people knowing my business. My life had already been plastered all over the news and social media, and everyone kind of knew me as a victim and poor Jacqueline and look what her family has been through. I didn't want to bring any more attention to myself. But then it wasn't until he kind of said to me, like, listen, like, it's not about that. It's about how you feel now. Like, can you imagine if you can help people who've been through the same kind of thing as you, if you can help them with what you did to move forward, would you? And I was like, I would. And it wasn't the first thing I looked into with network marketing. I had tried other things, but they didn't work for me. So I thought, whatever, I could try. Like, what do I got to do? Just post that I'm working out every once in a while? Like, sure, whatever. So I did, and my business exploded right off the bat. And it was amazing. And ever since that had happened about a year and a half ago, my life has been changed forever and for good. And I could get emotional about it, talking about it, because of how much it's really helped me. But I don't want to do that to you guys. It's been so life-changing for me. And it can be the same for you. You don't have to have the sad story. You don't have to have something that makes you don't have to have that. You can just have the ambition and the motivation to want to help yourself. And then if you can help a couple others too, why not, right? The feeling that I get from helping other people either grow their businesses or lose weight or lose some inches or just feel healthier keeps me on track and keeps me happier in my daily life every single day, because I have people telling me how much I helped them. I have people reaching out to me to ask me for my help. And I actually feel like I can use my experiences that I have endured in the past to help people move forward in their own lives. And that's really important to me. So emotionally, that's how coaching has helped me, and that is why I coach. It's amazing, and I don't do it just for the money. I do it because it's bettered my life 110% in so many different ways. the money, obviously, we all have bills, we all have things we need to pay, and that's really helped too. Beachbody pays once a week. You get a paycheck once a week. Every Thursday evening, you get money in your account. And before, I was living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. It was like $5 left in the account. It's like, do I buy milk or do I buy eggs kind of thing? And now it is not like that anymore. Our debt is going away. I've only been a coach for